So nothing happened. I didn't use any hints whatsoever, but I have a feeling that I have to go out here. What? No way. If it loads. Thank you. This ship is too fancy. I don't really want there to be fish on this boat, because that gives me a sinking feeling. So...
Curious. One can easily toss a gun into the sea from almost anywhere on the ship without being noticed. And yet, the murderer chose the one spot where it's not actually possible.
Yeah, that's probably not just luck for us. Maybe it was for him, actually.
I suppose the life jackets are stowed there, close to the railing, close at hand in case of emergency.
I feel like we should throw those overboard.
I hope I don't find myself needing a life jacket.
Let's go all Titanic on this one. Oh my gosh, this boat is actually really big. That's kind of intimidating right now. Let's just go to the forecastle. What is it called? Because I want to call it the forecastle, and everyone is using 2 syllables. The forecastle. Forecast? I'm just making noises at this point. Wow, you are the best. Round. I'm just gonna sneak behind you now.
The stowaway surely didn't sleep well last night in the cargo hold. Although his cell is probably more comfortable than my cabin, and more spacious.
Well then trade. Don't whine about it. I totally want a shuffleboard.
I wonder if this game is an advanced version of bocce.
Maybe. It's not like I've played shuffleboard in a while. I'm not usually on boats. I do want someone to get negative 10.
Salty sea air in my old lungs, wind in my thinning hair. If I hadn't become a policeman, I could have been a sailor.
Still be an old person though, so sorry.
It may not seem like it, but Constable Oliver is actually a very effective watchman.
Is that sarcasm? Because you've used sarcasm before.
What's going on?
The Raven just flew by.
What?
Or at least, he might as well have.
I wasn't asleep.
I understand. It was just a ruse.
Stop mocking me!
Any conclusions about a young stowaway?
He's stowed away.
He's a bit suspicious. Foreign and whatnot.
I see. Did he act suspiciously
You
in
both
any
put
way?
Trump?
No. The shot surprised him as much as it did me. Looked in on him earlier. Still seems to be asleep.
Covered with a blanket from head to toe?
Ah, he's still in there. I poked him.
Oh, well, good. Maybe you can go down there and poke him some more. We'll just go all Guantanamo Bay on him.
May I go downstairs and have a couple of words with our guest?
No, you may not.
Come again?
Inspector Legrand wants to conduct all the interrogations himself.
Very
I'm
fortunate.
sure he'll understand if I form my own conclusions.
He ordered me to guard the door, and that's just what I'm going to do.
How about a bit of individual initiative?
How about letting a man do his job? Or do you think you'd be better at it?
I don't know. It's not like I've tried.
What do you think? What happened here last night?
Dunno,
The
don't
Raven broke into the Baroness's cabin, she surprised him, and he shot her.
What was he looking for in her cabin?
care. The key?
She was a rich woman.
Why did he lock the door?
Why not?
From inside? An impressive trick.
I'm not saying I know how he did it. I'm just saying that it was him.
Well, it's not very
Why
helpful.
didn't he leave a raven feather?
Are you serious? We'd have suspected him straight away.
But fortunately, we still did.
So who cares, right?
Let's assume that the old Raven really has returned and that he really is responsible for all this. who is he? Or she?
Oh, could be anyone. No one's ever seen the Raven.
He could also be paying someone else to do his dirty work.
Well, of course. It's a fact that he used to work with partners. They even arrested some of his accomplices.
But no one could ever identify the Raven himself.
It's a unicorn.
Some claims that they didn't even know that they were working for him.
Wow.
Fascinating.
He hires stupid people.
He could have hired someone with financial difficulties to set off the alarm at a certain time without that person knowing why they were doing it.
The man Legrand shot back then, he was a famous safecracker. He could just as well have been a henchman.
Or the real Raven. There's probably no better cover for a big thief than acting like a small one. I don't want to keep you from your duties any longer.
Good idea.
Although this was fun. What's in the bottle? Can I have some?
Constable Oliver brought something to drink. You can tell it's not the first time he's had to guard something.
So experienced. There's something about the Raven strategy of making people do his work without telling him what the grand scheme is that's reminding me of something. And the fact that I can't recall exactly what it is angering me so much right now. Because I totally remember that from somewhere. Doesn't make much sense, but it's I'll try to remember.
The cabin was sealed. I'm pretty sure the seal doesn't have any legal relevance here on the open sea, but I'm still dependent on Legrand letting me join his team. I better not blow it by breaking his seal without permission.
Is that basically the yellow it is. He just covered it on that itty-bitty tiny piece, and I guess that's sufficient now.
An evacuation plan? And some tips from the doctor for avoiding seasickness, sunburn, and the like? And here, a schedule of activities. A drink with the captain, a shuffleboard competition on the forecastle. That's about it. A real barrel of fun.
Which part? The seasickness or the shuffleboard? So it's a forecastle. Fine.
A model of the Lydia before it was rebuilt. It used to be a freighter. The wide hallways, the cabins, and the saloon were added later.
I'm sure someone had a lot of fun putting that together. Honestly, they probably don't need a giant board with medical advice. I think the best advice is just basically stay asleep the whole time, never go outside, and you'll have no problems whatsoever.
An alarm like this one was set off yesterday. This one hasn't been set off. The security seal is intact.
Oh, good. They were ready for mischief way back.
That is Legrand's cabin.
That's conveniently next to the medical center in case he dies. Good to know. Is this someone's ashes in this? What the frick is this?
Come in.
I killed Constable Oliver. Can you take care of it?
Hello, Dr. Gebhardt.
And there's the next one.
Excuse me?
You want something else from me, don't you?
I'm afraid I do.
What a first day at work.
Can I rub your head for good luck? Oh no, we want to do the autopsy.
What's the result of your examination of the victim?
She's dead.
I didn't make you work all night long, Dr. Gebhardt.
She was shot. Point-blank shot. Probably with a pistol. It seems like she was lying in bed. The shot struck her hard. She died immediately.
One shot?
More were unnecessary. And we only heard one shot, no?
And there's just one entrance wound.
Just one.
I guess that's convenient. I don't think you need it to be at point-blank range. It's not like she's a small target.
I am told that I was drugged.
That's how it seems.
What can you tell me about it?
Me? Why should that be my business?
Haven't you analyzed the glass?
It was busy.
No, I haven't.
Dead body.
The inspector said he's the better chemist. I let him do it. That way I could at least concentrate on the body.
Do you think the Baroness might have been drugged?
Ooh.
She was very tired and unsteady when Legrand and I saw her.
Yeah, I heard about that. I must have just missed her in the saloon. And without having seen her myself, it is hard to make a diagnosis.
Of course. Can you say something about her general health?
She was quite overweight, and the butler said that she suffered from diabetes. Despite that, she hadn't visited a doctor for several years.
Doesn't sound good.
Happens more frequently than you might suppose. Some people are scared of doctors and pay with an early death. It is possible that the Baroness wouldn't have lived much longer anyway.
Gosh, I guess she didn't see any Wilford Brimley commercials.
Do you know whose glass I drank from?
What do you mean?
Captain de Conti handed me a glass of champagne. But where did he get it?
I don't know. Did you ask him?
I'm just asking because you were also in the saloon when the champagne was served.
I'm no
Yes,
bartender,
but I only
sir.
entered the saloon a few seconds before you did. I didn't manage to get a drink myself.
Which, in retrospect, is lucky.
Ah, you're right about that.
Have you already removed the bullet?
Making
Did
a
Legrand
necklace.
send you? What is that Frenchman's problem? I already told you. I will get in touch as soon as I have it. That is also what I told the constable, who he kept sending all night long, once I finally got rid of Legrand himself.
Did he look over your shoulder?
He probably wanted to take the scalpel from my hand and hack away himself. But this is my surgery, and I will not let amateurs interfere with my work.
That's understandable. How much longer will it take?
I have just finished. Send my regards to His Majesty.
Sweet.
Thanks.
I'm
I
so
think
glad we
that's it
both
for
have
now.
front pockets.
No. That is it for now, then, and later. I'm going to lie down for a few hours. Can you tell that to your boss?
But
Oh, I thought you were going to give us a hug. Fine.
could I at least have the key?
Absolutely not.
But if we have to examine the victim again,
Then the esteemed inspector knows where to find me. In my cabin. In bed. Good night, Constable Zellner.
Pretty sure it's morning. Knock, knock, it's the stripper you ordered.
Come in.
It's a house science. Very sciencey. Looks like
Ah, Zellner. Are you ready?
it. It's 7
good
test
morning,
tubes.
Inspector Legrand.
It's a new record.
My head is pounding, but I think I'm okay.
Chloral hydrate.
Hmm?
That's why you have a headache.
Oh my gosh, no, he had 12?
I found traces of it in your champagne glass.
So I imagine that's bad because it doesn't sound good, unless that's what champagne's made of.
What have you found out so far?
The Baroness was shot in the chest at close range. We heard the shot. The murderer quickly fled the cabin and dropped the murder weapon over the railing later. A simple story so far.
But why was her cabin door locked?
Exactly. If the murderer wanted to make it seem like a suicide, he'd have shot her in the head and left the gun at the crime scene.
And if it was murder, why did he go to all the trouble of locking the door from inside? And how did he manage that anyway?
Especially since we arrived just a few seconds later and didn't see anyone near the cabin.
Something doesn't make sense here.
No, it doesn't, and it's driving me crazy.
I'm with Dr. Gerhardt. I think it's nap time.
Did you find the murder weapon?
On the gangway on the side of the ship. I suspect the murderer tried to drop it into the sea. He would have stood close to the railing to let it fall unseen.
And since he doesn't know the ship, he had bad luck and dropped it right onto the gangway.
Indeed. And do you find that probable?
Not a bit.
Neither do I.
What kind of a gun is it?
A pistol.
Rudy
a Luger
Tooty
Owen.
point and shooty.
Antique.
Manufactured 1,000,000 times during and after the First World War. Austrian model. The owner is David Kreutzer, the violinist.
Oh,
He
really?
found him tonight totally drunk on the bow of the ship. He confirmed that it's his gun, but he claims that it was stolen from him.
Likely story.
Fingerprints?
Nothing. But it's worth mentioning that the clip was missing 2 bullets.
Oh, one of the...
And it's definitely the murder weapon.
The ballistic tests are incomplete.
How'd you do those?
Actually, I've been waiting far too long for the bullet recovered from the corpse. Pay the good doctor a visit, Zellner, and see that he does his job.
About the bullet. Here it is.
It ended up in
Excellent.
this
Give it to
pocket
me.
now.
As I suspected. A 7.65 Parabellum Luger.
Don't you want to examine it in more detail?
Alright, Dad.
When I have time. For now, though, we can assume that we have the murder weapon. There can't be too many antique Luger 08 pistols on board.
May I take a look at the Baroness's cabin?
We already searched it thoroughly.
Sure. But what about now, by daylight?
Yes, fine, it can't hurt. Here, take this with you.
You giving me the bullet back?
Thanks. I'll let you know if I find anything important.
But only then, please. I'm very busy.
Of course.
I'm gonna run out of small baggies.
Do you believe the violinist?
He'll be the first person I question. He claims he can't remember anything from the last few hours. Says he drank a bottle of schnapps.
He was on the train and he doesn't have an alibi. His drunkenness could be a smokescreen.
He fits the profile. He travels a lot, has access to high society.
Kinda sucks.
Could be interesting.
And this chloral hydrate?
Is a tranquilizer. Can be dissolved in alcohol. The effect begins in minutes and lasts for hours. Who gave you the glass of champagne?
The captain. No doubt.
I believe it was Captain de Conti.
If believing were enough for us, we'd have become priests, Constable. Be a policeman and find out for sure.
I definitely
Understood.
remember the cutscene, man.
You think that the jewel thief is the murderer?
Our friend would have needed another key to open the safe and steal the second eye, the one the Baroness was carrying. At least, that's what we implied.
What do you mean?
The Baroness was famous for her forgetfulness. I convinced her to give me the third key.
Oh,
It
good
seems
call.
safer for the eye.
The thief searches the Baroness's cabin looking for the third key.
She returns from the saloon earlier than expected.
Surprises him, and he can't allow her to identify him.
He imprisons her until the coast is clear, and then shoots her.
And thus, the thief becomes a murderer.
But still doesn't have all the keys.
For some reason, you feel very suspicious. That's all I'm gonna say.
Are you sure that there's no bomb inside this time?
Professor Lucien locked it in front of an audience, and it will be opened for the first time in Cairo.
Let's hope
Standing
so.
ovation.
It would take hours to crack it, and you'd need heavy machinery.
Or the keys.
Or the 3 keys, that's right.
Do you really think that the Raven is behind all this?
He wrote the letter that was on the safe in the train. Without the letter, we wouldn't have opened the safe, and the bomb wouldn't have exploded.
But it doesn't seem like him, does it? The Raven was famous in part because he never hurt anyone,
He's a
much
good
less
guy.
killed anyone, during a burglary.
It's his handwriting, and he called me Nico. No one else does that. I chased that man across Europe for years. It is him. It has to be him.
But the
I
evidence...
say so I'm right.
Enough.
I'll be on my way. I want to find out who gave me the drugged champagne.
Good idea.
Inspector Legrand? Are you okay?
Science is hard. Shut up.
Maybe you should take a break.
I can sleep once I've caught the Raven. Goodbye, Constable.
Be seeing you.
I kind of wanted to see if he gets his own alarm. I suppose that's easier.
Legrand is risking not just his career, but his health as well on his hunt for the Raven. He's working like a demon. Maybe that's why he caught the Raven and no one else.
I can still hear you, Zelna. Let's just go into the fancy room. It is fancy o'clock. I'm ready for the free buffet, or these are all empty, aren't they? How many ice buckets am I gonna pilfer in this game?
The alcoholic drinks and everything that goes with them is top-notch on this ship.
Is the ice made of gold or something?
Captain DeConti is sitting at the bar again. He gave me the glass of champagne last night.
Why didn't you just tell Legrand that?
Hello, Captain DeConti.
Hey, Constable Zelna. You're back on your feet again. Glad to see it.
How about you don't get knocked out anymore, eh?
What was your experience of last night?
Oh, terrible. Dinner was fantastic. Everyone was excited about having a pleasant drink under the stars. And then this.
You were in the saloon all night long.
As the captain, I have to care for my passengers. After you and the others rushed out, I tried to maintain a festive atmosphere.
Conga
But
lines
when
and
the
like.
alarm it goes off, I lose the battle.
Where's Luigi, sir?
How was the Baroness?
She really surprised me. After she was so unapproachable at the reception and didn't show her face for the entire afternoon, I was afraid she was one of the bores and bourgeoisie. But then she arrived in the early evening in the best of moods. Already had a few, if you know what I mean.
No,
Did
you're
she
gonna have
say
to
anything to
explain.
you?
She asked me where Legrand's cabin was. I told her, then invited her to come for drinks in the evening. I said it would be great fun. The whole ship will be there, and you don't want to miss that, I told her.
And then?
She seemed to like the idea. She smiled, and then left again for a few minutes. Then she came back and seemed very happy. We drank a toast to life.
Was that sarcastic? Yes, that is totally sarcastic. So,
But at some point she didn't feel well anymore?
She overdid it a bit. She suddenly started to swoon and almost spilled her drink. I asked her if she wanted to rest for a moment in her cabin. At first, she didn't want to. She definitely wanted to stay in the saloon.
someone has to be
But
the
then
adult here.
she realized that she really did need to lie down. We left together. You know the rest of the story.
Boobity bobbity.
Did everyone drink from the same bottle of champagne last night?
Gross.
There
Everyone
was
gets
more
their
than
own.
one bottle, if that's what you mean. There were quite a few guests, and the event lasted several hours.
The last bottle of champagne, the one the Baroness drank from, did anyone else drink from it?
Certainly.
We have reason to believe that the champagne was drugged.
Incredible. But Wouldn't that have made everyone drowsy?
Not if it was only the Baroness's glass that was drugged.
I see. That's possible. On a night like that, many glasses are filled and emptied. There are several stewards, many guests. No one keeps track of every glass and every bottle.
A few drops in a glass?
Yes, it's certainly possible.
But we won't talk about that anymore, because who cares?
The glass you handed me last night, where did you get it?
The kitchen?
I understand. You think your glass was poisoned as well?
Did you pour it yourself?
No. I saw that you weren't doing so well and wanted to rescue the situation. I took the first available glass and I give it to you.
Was it on the table?
No, I hurry over to you, together with Dr. Gebhardt, who... Of course, he had the glass in his hand. He was looking around for a place to set it down, so that he could examine you. I took it from him.
And gave it to me.
I'd like to apologize for that, but you look so worse for the wear, and I just wanted to comfort you. I didn't think of looking for a new glass for you.
So the doctor had the drugged glass in his hand.
I'm glad it probably didn't have doctor spit in it then.
Is it possible to find out where the alarm was set off?
I'm afraid not. There are alarms all over the ship.
I saw that they're sealed. Can't we just check whether the seal is broken?
But I'm busy.
I'm afraid they're gonna be missing on a lot of alarms. You know, this is an old ship, and over the years...
Safety isn't first
So,
priority.
you're saying that the alarms haven't been regularly maintained?
I'll inform the crew immediately, of course.
Of course.
No rush.
What can you tell me about the passengers?
They're all on the ship?
Not that much, I'm afraid. I wanted to get to know them properly at the reception. In most cases, I just shook hands with them as they boarded the ship.
They all have
There are
hands.
a few regulars on board, and after dinner, I had a conversation with Mr. Kreutzer, a talented violinist, and Lady Westmacott. But
not so
you
talented
already know
violinist.
them from the train.
It seems like there aren't that many passengers on board.
These bloody airplanes are making our lives miserable. Can you imagine? Grown men prefer to jam themselves into a narrow metal coffins instead of enjoying the fresh sea air on a ship.
It's all about saving time.
It shouldn't be about how much time it takes to get from A to B, but about how you spend that time. What you experience on the journey, that's what it's about.
Tell that to
I'll get
capitalism.
back to my investigations now.
Ciao, Constable.
The fun city.
Lady Westmacott seems to be an early bird. But maybe that's just because of all the excitement. I
Gotta get
saw
the
a
good
twinkle
seat.
in her eye on the train. She's eager to be part of a real detective story.
Well, that could just mean that she's killing people. What does she have to lose?
Lady Westmacott, already on your... Oh,
Constable, don't you think before you speak?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No time for chit-chat. What have you found out?
We're still working on the case. Actually, I have a couple of questions for you.
Please, go ahead.
What did you think of our adventure on the train? An extraordinary story, isn't it?
I'm glad that you were able to prove yourself, Mr. Zellner.
Hopefully not for the last time.
I like
I'm
being
glad
right.
that everything ended well. I want to thank you sincerely for taking care of Matthew. I can't bear to think about something happening to him.
I think you just
It all
did.
worked out in the end. Do you think that the thief from the train and the murderer are the same person?
I think the new Raven is capable of anything.
Legrand believes there is no new Raven. He thinks that the old one has returned.
Zombie
He
and
said
whatnot.
that.
Do you think it's possible? Everyone thinks he's dead.
As a dramatist, the return of the Raven would certainly be delightful. A legend comes back from the grave for one last job. It's quite romantic. At the same time, though, I'd be disappointed.
Why is that?
I followed the Raven's career closely. There weren't many burglars with such character and charm. His burglaries were clever and entertaining, but he was sloppy in London. He almost got caught. And I'll never forgive him for the affair on the train. No, I would much rather that the Raven stayed dead and had nothing to do with the burglary or the murder.
I'm gonna have to put my review on Metacritic.
What do you think? Who is our suspect?
Everyone. Or almost everyone. Everyone on board is physically capable of shooting someone.
Thanks for the help.
But who has the dark desire to take the life of a defenseless person?
I do.
One cannot read minds.
And one should not try. You have to collect evidence, traces, clues. That's what will lead us to the killer.
What do
It
you mean,
won't
police
be like
work?
a bad crime novel, in which they introduce a new character shortly before the end who, surprise, surprise, is also the murderer.
Murderers leave evidence. They're nervous or unnaturally relaxed. They have to adjust constantly.
And because of that, they make mistakes. This is your chance, Constable. If you find the mistake, you'll find your murderer.
Have you noticed anything related to the murder?
Unfortunately not. I was already in my cabin and missed all the commotion. Damnable old age.
You're telling me.
Oh, you're still young. At my age, you have to expect that you won't experience much anymore. And although I've written about murder so many times, I've never actually witnessed one. How exciting.
I hope I'm next.
I doubt everyone is so relaxed in such a situation.
Heartless is the word you're searching for, right, Constable? I certainly didn't want the Baroness to be murdered, but if I can't undo it, then I might as well enjoy it.
Let's up the body count. I'm thinking 5.
What do you think of Inspector Legrand?
He seems to be as skilled as everyone says. Intelligent, focused. I had a chat with him yesterday, and he impressed me, but there's something haunted in his eyes.
I don't think he ever really stopped hunting the Raven.
Catching the Raven made him famous. What if he actually shot the wrong person?
Then he'd be
Unjustified fame bothers
Screw up.
people, the good ones at least.
And you think he's one of the good ones?
Anyone who tries so hard to tear down his own memorial must be honorable. Or insane.
I like the
have
smile
to be
at the
going,
end.
Lady Westmacott.
Please keep me informed, Constable Zellner.
Of course.
Enjoy your competitive sitting tournament. I don't know what the frick you're doing. So we did get some new information on the glass, at least, I guess. The doctor was way more important than we were. Fair enough, he can do his job too. German efficiency.
Come in.
Ah, I'm naked now. Surprise. No, he's just sitting.
Constable.
About the tranquilizer.
Who gave you the glass of champagne?
It was Captain de Conti.
You're sure?
He doesn't deny it. But he also says that the glasses passed through many hands that night and that everyone had access to the champagne.
So it could have been anyone.
Maybe the question isn't who put the poison in the glass, but rather who it was they wanted to poison.
Smart. And who were they trying to poison?
Dr. Gebhardt? The captain got the glass from him.
An unconscious ship's doctor. That sounds like it would be more use to a murderer than a drugged constable.
You think so? Did the murderer have reason to assume that his shot might not kill the victim immediately and that Dr. Gebhardt would be able to save her?
You're right. That's improbable. My ego is just searching for reasons for them to want to kill her and not me. Good job, Zellner.
I'll be in touch if I uncover more clues.
Very well.
Considering that the last couple of episodes have been so short, this might be a good time to actually see if we can find some clues. Ah, yes. Access.
This is the first murder scene I've ever set foot in.
Don't get nervous. Oh no, I wet myself immediately. Not even a body in here anymore. Okie dokes, I guess it's time to search everything.
Another alarm. It was tripped at some point. The seal is broken. But there's no way of telling whether it happened yesterday or 5 years ago. There should be a ventilation shaft behind the hatch. Usually a good way to break in and out undetected. But we're on a ship. The ventilation shafts are very small here.
Oh dang it, it's almost like they don't want people to crawl through them. Are you in
The
here?
most unportable portmanteau I've ever seen.
What is it?
A portable bar is more like it.
Thank you.
Must be hard work transporting this big, heavy thing halfway around the globe. And the Baroness was lucky that the other freight cars were only lightly damaged by the explosion.
I was worried that you found some of her pornography or something.
The notepad has the ship's emblem on it. I suppose all the first-class cabins have them.
Damn advertising. Inspector? Be in the saloon at 10 p.m. We're going to get funky tonight. Funky tonight. No. Big Bird. No, it's just one B.
It says, Inspector, be in the saloon at 10 p.m. There is a murderer on board and I will expose him. B. The Baroness seems to have known the murderer. And that means that the Raven can't be the murderer. He never killed anybody. Legrand probably never got the message. Otherwise, he'd have said something.
Well, better late than never.
The mannequin surely came with the cabin. A mannequin for the Baroness's clothes would have a more generous figure.
I can't feel bad about my jokes if the game is just gonna do it first.
Sunflowers. By Van Gogh, I presume. He liked to paint that sort of thing. Can't be an original. They cost thousands of francs.
Geez, now, yeah. They're a little more pricey today.
A tape recorder. Must go with the built-in speakers. Probably part of the cabin's furnishings. The tape recorder is older than the hills, but it was once very expensive. Top of the range. And that doesn't come cheap.
Okay, I guess we're just gonna marvel at the fact there's a tape recorder here. Good enough.
There's still blood on the mattress. The sheet and the blanket have already been removed. To analyze them, I suppose.
Gotta double check it's a sheet. Anything else? Any money hiding in here? Free lint?
Nothing.
You checked barely anything.
The blood spot is the only sign that someone committed a crime in here. Somehow... That's odd. The blood is so... red. Shouldn't it gradually darken in the air? Turn brown?
Is it not blood? Could it perhaps be nail polish or something? Death on the Nile.
The unusual color of the blood could be something that Legrand and Dr. Gebhardt missed last night. All cats are gray in the dark, as the saying goes. I should take a sample.
What are you gonna do? Lick it?
The unusual color of the blood, all...
No, I don't even know what a sachet is. Is it satchel? Related? It's just a word I don't normally use, let's put it that way.
Something's under there.
It's the perfect hiding spot.
Down feathers, maybe from a quilt or a pillow. Nothing special.
Or there was a
Although,
duck.
It seems like one of the feathers was scorched at the top, literally burnt. I'll take it with me.
I kind of wanted to stay over here. It looked like there was some fun stuff. Some luggage I can examine.
Apparently, the Baroness didn't have time to unpack her bags. Or
Drinking
rather,
is tough
didn't
work.
have time to tell her butler to unpack them for her.
Is Butler even alive?
Sifting through all that would take ages. But here, the Baroness's handbag.
And look through it.
Aha.
Free cash. Or maybe in there's the free.
A small leather-bound book. 1964 is engraved on it. This must be the Baroness's diary.
Okay then, I guess.
Let's see.
Now's a better time than ever.
Yes, it's a diary, all right. Difficult to read.
Dear diary, isn't Zellner the cutest?
No entry from yesterday. A brief, sober description of what she's done recently.
You know, sit
Met
around.
Morris, arrange benefit concert for renovation of Louvre Southeastern Wing.
Be
Times
rich.
photo shoot for Eye of Sphinx.
Count my money.
BM, poor excuse for photographer. Too fidgety. And so on.
Who's BM? Bowel movement?
This entry looks strange. The handwriting is shaky. Difficult to read. Dreamt of Bobby. Yesterday would have been his birthday. Next week, Jay's.
So glad you use nicknames. The most helpful. At this point, I feel like it's time to go down and share. Oh,
The
except
door frame was damaged when Dr. Gebhardt kicked it in. The real question is, why was the door locked in the first place?
clearly we should just keep asking that question and not actually do anything about it. I like this plan. Well, there you are. Are you hiding in
The
the ceiling?
Baroness's butler looks like he didn't get much sleep. I would describe his facial expression as worried.
Oh no, the butler has feelings. I kind of want to go talk to Legrand first.
Come in. Constable?
I found feathers in the Baroness's cabin.
Really?
Yes, under her bed.
I hope this is leading up to some information that justifies this interruption.
Some of the feathers are singed.
Show me. Well, you may have something here.
I think that someone fired a shot through a pillow or something like that, and the muzzle flash scorched the down.
Yes, possible. Try to find the pillow and we'll take it from there.
I took a closer look at the blood spot from the Baroness's bed.
Yes, what's wrong with it?
It looks odd.
Odd?
I think it should be darker.
I understand. The iron in blood causes it to darken the longer it's exposed to the air.
Right. And
We don't have time to waste. Dr. Gebhardt, examine the body thoroughly. He would have noticed if anything was wrong.
And you trust Dr. Gebhardt completely?
I trust everyone as much as is advisable. There will be a complete autopsy in Cairo. Until then, the doctor is one of the few people on board who is not a suspect. You, him, the stowaway, Constable Oliver, and I all have alibis.
There are still enough suspects left. I was able to make the traces of a note on the Baroness's notepad legible. She wrote that a murderer is on board and that she'll unmask him. She asks the recipient to meet her in the saloon at 10 p.m. If we can find the recipient.
I was the recipient.
Monsieur?
When I entered my cabin last night, I found a message on the floor. Someone must have slipped it under the door.
Why didn't you say anything about it?
I didn't know that I was obliged to.
We are partners.
Not really. You're helping me out until we reach Cairo, because you somehow managed to remain on
I'm
board.
doing good.
But
I'll choose when and with whom I share information. You can accept that and continue assisting me, or you can spend the rest of the journey on a deck chair thinking about missed opportunities.
And none of this is by any chance related to the fact that the message doesn't suit your Raven theory. The Baroness knew the murderer from the past, and he was already a murderer when he boarded the ship. The Raven was always just a thief, not a murderer.
I'm gonna have to tie you to
Careful,
the deck chair.
Constable. Are you accusing me of perverting the facts?
Of course not, monsieur.
Then let's get back to work. Good day, Constable.
I hope no one hears
I'll
a
be in
pervert.
touch if I uncover more clues.
Very well.
Was I even able to check that before? I feel like I wasn't.
A big, ugly, and impractical vase. If it had a wider opening, one could at least use it as an umbrella stand. Can't see
umbrellas.
anything. Wow, heavier than it looks.
Ooh!
Aha!
Stop looking in the frickin' vase.
More feathers, and they're singed as well.
Gosh, it's a feather party in here.
I'd better take it with me.
I guess it's just not part of our inventory anymore. That's fine.
Cosmetics, a handkerchief, a spectacles case. Nothing special.
Actually,
fresh ice and tongs. They could be useful.
I did not steal from you, Captain.
Are even the police light-fingered nowadays?
You saw
I
that.
need this tool for a criminal investigation.
Well then, why didn't you say so?
Go ahead and take the
But bring
stools,
the
too.
tongs back when you're done. Otherwise, I'll have cold fingers all day.
Why were the down feathers tossed in the vase? Or is there anything else in there?
Yeah, that'd be quite a lucky catch,
Good
right?
work.
Yeah, let's use the pliers, since I guess
There's
that.
something in there. Ah,
Oh, good. The vase is breaking reality, so it's easier to pull this out.
someone stuffed this in the vase. Looks like it's been used to muffle a gunshot. If this isn't an important discovery, I don't know what is.
Oh, cool. You just,
Legrand, here I come.
you just push it up to your shirt, and it just... whoop. Winner.
Strange.
Oh, now it is.
There's only one reel. And it's the wrong one.
I guess I wouldn't know how that works.
No sign of the original reel.
Then take
A
that
reel
one.
made by Zeibling. I know the brand. Zeibling's tapes can be overwritten many times without losing quality.
Magic.
They're used in offices so that executives can record messages for the secretaries on the same tape over and over again. But they're not good for much else. They're robust, but they don't offer much in terms of sound quality.
Doesn't take much to keep telling them they're fired over and over again.
The Zeibling brand, the tape that came on it, and the What a discovery.
Yeah, I think... nah, we're good. Here we go. This is a good opportunity to see what you know.
Hello, Mr. Inch.
Oh, Constable, hello.
You look the worse for wear. It must be terrible for you.
I guess your last
Quite
name?
terrible. No one will hire me now.
Excuse me?
My mistress was murdered. Would you hire a butler who's been mixed up in a murder?
Sounds like
But
fun.
if it turns out that you're not guilty...
If. But what if not? Who else would they blame? There are no gardeners on this ship.
I understand your problem.
I had a
Under
gardener
these
kill me once.
circumstances, I'm sure you'd answer some questions that could help clear your name, wouldn't you?
Of course.
Well, I have a bunch of them. What's your favorite color?
Did you notice anything suspicious last night?
No, sir. After the Baroness went to the saloon, I went to the forecastle. I was there until the alarm went off. I went to the side deck and arrived shortly after Professor Lucien and Miss Miller. We found you and Inspector Legrand there. You were unconscious, and the inspector asked us to take care of you.
Did you hear the gunshot?
No, just the alarm, sir.
You said you were on the forecastle. It sounded like the Baroness let you have the rest of the night off.
Not entirely, sir. One of the crew informed me that the Baroness wanted to be roused at 10:15.
Right. Why was that?
I suppose that she wanted to toast the success of the journey with the captain and the other passengers.
She hadn't intended to take a nap then.
That was not her way, sir. She had a lot of spirit, shall we say, when it came to social engagements and a glass or two of champagne.
The Baroness's cabin seems to have been ransacked.
Indeed, sir, by the Baroness herself.
Really?
Yeah, what a
She
clean
was
ransacker.
searching for something the entire afternoon.
And did she find it?
I think she did, sir, yes. She was in high spirits when she finally left her cabin.
You wouldn't happen to know what she was looking for, would you?
I'm afraid not.
Who packed her bags? This is like a TSA question.
Would you describe the Baroness as orderly?
Well, she always had a lot of responsibilities, sir.
That doesn't answer my question.
She used to take a lot of luggage on journeys, and I helped her keep track of it as best I could.
You've lost a
She was
few.
always very angry when she couldn't find something.
What about the photos and the documents I saw in her cabin?
She's a spy.
I really don't know. They were out of bounds to me, sir. Memories from the war, I'd say. They meant a lot to her.
Did she fight in the war?
The Baroness seemed to be pretty drunk the last time I saw her.
Is that so?
Does that surprise you? Did the Baroness not drink?
Oh, yes, she drank. It was no secret.
I understand.
Like a sailor.
How serious was her habit?
Serious enough, sir.
Was she under any medical supervision?
Certainly not, sir. She adamantly refused to see a doctor. Like so many elderly women, she had a distinct aversion to hospitals and the like.
How long had you worked for the Baroness?
6 months, sir.
Only 6 months. I always thought that butlers stayed with their employers for decades.
Those decades have to start at some point, Constable. Her former butler wasn't able to fulfill his duties any longer. Gout, sir.
I understand.
I took on his duties and hoped for a secure position for the next 20 years.
Did you notice her health, though?
May I ask what happened to your arm?
A souvenir from the war, sir.
Doesn't it hinder your work?
Yes, sir, obviously.
I didn't mean to offend you.
The Baroness had a soft spot for disabled veterans. I think she'd been through a lot herself.
I think that's all for now.
Please, sir, find the murderer. You have to clear me of all suspicion.
I'm guessing it was this house plant, so you're good.
A singed pillowcase is proof that there must have been a second gunshot.
I'm just gonna barge in, because this is super important.
Inspector?
You interrupted my weird bathroom drinking time.
Can't you knock?
I didn't realize. I'm really...
I'm not getting anywhere. I'm going to question each passenger individually. Anyone without an airtight alibi will be checked for gunshot residue.
I have my list of
But
questions
Inspector,
here.
People
you do
trip
it?
up when you put pressure on them, Constable Zellner. The Raven is nervous. He's changed his methodology and become a murderer. I'll see it in his eyes. After you.
but Inspector Legrand,
Nope, the scene is fading to black. Your time is up.
we have no proof that the Raven and the murderer are the same person. Quite the opposite. The Baroness's message hints at the fact that she knew the murderer and that he'd killed before.
You may not know it, but I do. I will catch him with or without your help.
He was definitely doing drugs, wasn't he?
I don't believe it. What's gotten into him?
Cocaine, probably.
Oh, well. It makes no sense to tell him about my theories if his opinion is already set. I need evidence. Or better yet, the murderer. I also need his lab if I'm going to get anywhere. I need to get in there somehow. And I
Lock the
really
door?
need to talk to the stowaway. He may have information, and the inspector will just ignore him, since he's too young to be the Raven.
I feel like you really need to take a break, just a little bit. Oh, also, I figured out that the gunshot happened. It's been a long time, wasn't it, in the basement? It happened as soon as we cut to the scene of him tied up, so I had no idea what that was. But it was like, ooh, it was a gunshot. Why didn't you hear it? Because, I don't know. You know, I'm just doing the best. Best that I can. And you know what? So far, so good. So we're gonna save. Over the top of this one. We'll see you next time.